This is KMTV. Welcome to this exclusive program. My name is Nathan Charles. Welcome, guys, to this program, the Firing Squad. It's a pleasure to be back on this network with this fascinating development from Liberia and across the world. Whether way, I'm Cyrus McGee. Welcome.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Nathan.
much.
So basically, on the program, this is our first edition. We're looking at several issues. Just in under 30 seconds, let the audience know who is Weddy Williams, who is Cyrus McGee.
Wade Williams is a Liberian journalist and international award-winning journalist. I've worked in Liberia for a number of years, reporting on a lot of issues in the country, and I'm here in the United States at the moment.
And I'll tell you, I don't know whether there is a need for introduction, but Cyrus McGee is a journalist uh, by profession and worked in the field for a long time. Migrated to the United States in 2013. Been here working in different areas, but as the saying goes, it was in your hands, you put it down, but that was in your blood. So coming to the United States, it was an opportunity to also, start a KMTV network over here, where I serve as the CEO of KMTV USA, the diaspora, network, and the public know what we do. One of the lead presenters of the Diaspora Talk that is coming back soon. Don't forget. And it's good to be here, Nathan, and it's good to be partnering with you. And as always, a pleasure. And bringing Welly on is an added layer to what we do in the professional space. So it's good being on the Fire Squad.
Indeed, welcome to the Firing Squad. This thought-provoking program is here to stimulate the discussion in Liberia. We're bringing sense to the discussion. We are professional journalists. We are going to live by our ethics. And the Firing Squad comes away every Friday on KMTV. Like, share this program. Tell somebody that, hey, veteran Liberian award-winning journalist Weddy Williams, Cyrus McGee, and Nathan Charles are here to bring sense to the discussion. Now, under this edition, what are we looking at? What are we looking at today? Indeed, it is a new day in Liberia. We are going to be looking at major issues in Liberia. The new drug enforcement agency boss is on the rampage. He's weeding out drug addicts and those who are facing the coach and other substances in Liberia. Abraham Kroma is knocking on the doors
Oh,
of
Kush.
Kush. So they got heroin and other dangerous substances. He's knocking on the doors of these drug uh, smugglers in Liberia. And as you know, credential audit is a new message now for the Joseph Human Burger leadership. Is that a good step for them as they take seat in Liberia for the next 6 years? These are other things we'll be looking at. And also on the discussion today, uh, the do absolute power corrupt our leaders? George, we are private jet era is over. Now we are seeing the 79-year-old President Joseph Yvonne Boyka and his Vice President Jeremiah Kuhn are now hopping onto private jets. These are discussions we'll be following and what's coming from Liberians and lawmakers in Liberia. And as you know, Liberia Army Chief, like former Liberia Army Chief, who was appointed as Defense Minister Prince Johnson III, stepped down. Women of the AFL were not happy with his appointment. These are other things to be looking at. What is it like for our Liberian people? Long-serving cultural ambassador Judy Andy is crying out for justice. According to her, some big hands of Joseph Human Burka is playing some dirty games. And these are other things we'll be looking at, the issue of fire incident in Liberia. But when we come back, we have all of these discussion. Let's play you some excerpts.
I've not been able to write any proposal. And I'm going through this mental torture. I'm going through all of this. I have done nothing. I've worked in Liberia. I've worked 30 years of my life. I dedicated in this army, soldiers, this army, children, this army working for the women of Liberia.
Listen, Joseph Walker is bringing division in this country, and we think that the president of the Republic of Liberia is under mandate to reconcile this country.
The preacher of Jesus, they are blessed by the Holy Ghost. Are you not happy? Are you not happy? Those who wrote the speech, I will still sit on the bishop soon come. In inauguration day, everybody happy. We are rejoicing over the defeat of the old regime. We are rejoicing. God bless. Frown on that. You don't know that one? Oh, I'm gonna tell you that one again. Oh, you say you went to school. You know that conflict of interest. You know the corner frown on that. You don't know that one? Thinking well. Because you need to look at what the main cause is for. There should be a root cause of things. You don't look at the root cause. A sound man, a family already, what are you trying to be causing?
Public service is not an entitlement. It is an opportunity to give back to your country and your fellow citizens. I see people leaving private jobs to come to public service. It is not an entitlement. It's yourself saying, I want to come and serve my people. That's why they call it public service. You want to make more money, go to private sector.
Indeed, welcome guys to the Fire Squad on this program. Let's go into our first discussion here. As you know, Ibrahim Kroma, the new DA boss, is knocking at the doors and exposing criminals or those who are facing these heinous substances in Liberia. What is it like for the fight against drugs in Liberia? Is he on the right footing, and what can be done differently? Let's hear from you, guys.
Drugs destroys a society. So any society where you have the proliferation of these substances, especially the young people, will be the most impacted. So I think it's a good thing to go after people who are using drugs, but we also need to look at what is the source coming into the country. We have to look at that. So just arresting people, arrest them from the street, put them in jail, prosecute them. But the source, are we going to the source of this? And also, these people who are using drugs, are there any ways that we can rehabilitate them? Are there programs in place? I know you're arresting people, but are there programs in place, for you to rehabilitate these people? Especially, most of them are young. They're young people who are using. But the source of the drug problem is not the users, is the dealers. Who's bringing these drugs into the country. So we need to get to the root of it.
Cyrus, can we get to the root of it, and what is the best way we can get to the root of drugs?
Well, for me, I think it's a good start for AB. I must say hats up to him. AB is somebody who's known publicly for being out there, making sure that his work is done to the fullest. He was one or two. He was effective in that role. At one point, he was relief and brought back. Is the hustle man in the terrain when it comes to crime. So that's a good start. But like where they put it, there must be a lot of things put in place to make sure that there is an effective work done by AB and his team. He's surrounded by a group of people, young people, middle-aged guys who have the zest to get out there. They want to get the work done. But again, it all boils down to resources, capacity building, and programs that will be put in place. That when these people will be peddlers or dealers, are arrested, there will be a system in place where we can have them transform from one lifestyle to another, reintegrated in our society. Because somebody may see somebody out there as quote unquote, I don't like to use the name Zobo, but it just take a process to transform that particular person into a useful citizen. Let me put it that way, unlike what they are into. So hats up to him, but it is on the decks of the lawmakers, the legislators, those 103 people on Capitol Hill, to put into place, the mechanism through the budgetary allotment, making sure that the necessary things are done. I saw him display the hair office of the DEA. None of us sitting here want to work from that space, you
Yes,
know.
exactly.
As much as those people are into the habits they are into, for instance, you arrested somebody who's a peddler or an alleged peddler or user, see where they are kept, see the environment where the DEA sits, and he told the public clearly, I cannot work from this place. And I didn't see it as bragging on his part, but I see it as a space that you should be able to sit and work in an environment that you will be able to carry your work effectively. So it is not just onto him, it's not just onto those officers that will be here in the streets, the communities, but it's up to everyone, including the public. The public has a huge role to play. If in America, they say you see something, say something. Look at that community, that place where those guys were arrested from. You can see community dwellers, chanting the name of A.B. Kroma. They've been going through a lot of torture, a lot of things at the hands of those who are behind this business. So I mean, there's still more that needs to be done. I don't want to see this as a publicity that he's just jumping on to show off what he can do. But I know AB is resourceful. He's somebody who knows what he wants to get done, and he needs the support from the government, central government, from the communities, from our partners, and I'm sure. And we also keep his feet by the fire. That these fine things you said before the legislature when you went for your confirmation hearing, you are going to do it in making sure that this particular war that is taking place in Liberia is brought under control and, if possible, eradicated totally.
And also, this issue is not a new issue. It's not new to the George Weah. It wasn't new to the George Weah administration. We remember when we reported in Liberia, there were times that drugs were seized from people who were living in grave, and they arrested people from graveyards taking drugs. They raided West Point for drugs. So this has been going on. But what is the strategy? The strategy is not, oh yeah, we have a very tough drug enforcement agency that can raid the streets and parade all these people on camera, and then that's it. But we need a strategy, a workable strategy. We need rehabilitation for these users. We also need to find out the source of it. So if we take the right approach, because if we arrest people today and prosecute them, yes, but the drug is still out there. You have not really curbed the problem. So there has to be. I think we probably have to bring AB Chroma on the show so he can tell us what the plans are, and so it has to be a different approach.
So how has this impacted us negatively as a country? Like you mentioned, from West Point to Nuclear Town, our young people, you saw them homeless. I even saw some handicapping all involved into this thing. What's the negative impact?
And these are vulnerable societies. These are vulnerable people. These people are poor. They can barely afford anything, even housing. They live in really dilapidated conditions in these slums. So they do whatever can get them, the little money that they need. What programs do we have for youth rehabilitation? What program do we have for our youths to be able to employ them? Rapid employment of these people. Do we have like a service that's able to employ these people and pay them per hour? Maybe put them into a program where they can work, and get paid. It's a rehabilitation program, but they also get paid for working around the communities. So
We'll
we
have a
have
partnership,
something.
partnership with express with
Yes,
and training more people in that field, because if you know that's a major thing for your country, you need to prioritize it, train more people, enforce the law, and make sure that, hey, you are busting all of these areas. Like Sarah said, I don't know, when I saw the office of the DA, I was so discouraged. I'm like, administrator, human being from the George administration, 6 years. You sat there
yes.
living and working in that
In
field.
that
For
kind of
using,
field.
you got to come outside to pee. And,
Exactly.
it
How
was
can you, a public official, be comfortable in working in such environments? So it tells you the mindset of these people who come into public service. They do not care about deliverables. They do not care about changing anything. They just want to sit there. There are no new um, um, alternatives that they bring to the table. They just feel, that government jobs in Liberia, no one is going to check you. You just get it. You get paid every month, and you are done. You don't have to do anything. But we have to begin to hold these people accountable. If you cannot keep your surroundings clean. As a public official, your office looks that dilapidated, and you have funds available to you. I really don't know if you need to be in that position.
And for me, I think that first of all, those are not just the common people. I mean, it doesn't just lie on the hands of the common people. Most of those people we see out there, they are victims. I call most of them victims of what's going on in our country. The issue of drugs is something that do have a huge undertone. I mean, people in high places benefit from these things. You know, whether they've been supported by people who open a gateway to the entry into our country is another story for another day. We saw in the past where officials of government were linked to drugs being imported into the country. The media ran with then chief of protocol to the president, then Finder Bundle, other people who were linked. Whether their names were clear is yet to be clear to the public. But it shows that it's not just a common man thing. The people we see out there in the street, and you see those little sacks that were displayed, during the bus there. They're not being purchased by people in those big vehicles, no, but those big vehicles owners are benefiting. There are foreigners like that come to our country that are doing some businesses. You say, I'm doing, for instance, people selling CDs in Liberia, but those are people that own huge properties. Look at where they took those drugs from. A group of Nigerian, quote unquote, living in that place, and by some means or the other, they are the ones that are doing these deals. But again, the system needs to be worked on. Like where they put it, you cannot just come to power just because you want to ride a big car, three, four cell phones in your hands, moving around, and your office is sitting in field. That's a disgrace. That's a serious disgrace to the DEA. And probably we just look at the DEA, but there could be other areas where these things are happening. Bosses are appointed, they move around, enjoy themselves around town. Some of them don't even sit in their offices because if you, as a normal person, will sit in that place that was displayed as office of the DEA, then something must be wrong with you. You must be either high on drug to sit over there or what, because the ambience is not somewhere for somebody who's a normal human to work from. So people coming to public office should be waiting and ready to work, should be waiting and ready to change the system, to put into place the programs, and it goes back to, like I always say, those people on Capitol Hill. What are the check and balances they're doing? The Committee on National Security now is being headed by Local County Momo Cyrus, right? Will Senator Cyrus now go to these different areas to see what these people are going through that your community have oversight of, or you're just going to be sitting there when they are up for confirmation, quote unquote, whatever that's passed under. All of these people are getting confirmed. There's no official of the Waka government that have been, turned away so far since the entire nomination process and confirmation started. It's like almost like family meetings. Some of the confirmation hearing, like they having family time. Those hard questions are they being asked? Will these people be followed up with areas they've been trusted with? And I listened to the president very keenly yesterday talking about public office. It's not an entitlement. And most
We're
of these
jumping in
people
that,
see
Cyrus.
it as that. Yes. So just on the outskirts of that, people who are entrusted must be able to work in the interest of their people. And people with those roles, our lawmakers, must be able to follow up and making sure that those monies that are allotted in the budget for these things are happening. You know, the DE is a clear example, and we hope that they can draw a line from that. And I love the fact that EB said, "I'm not going to work for that place." And some people saw it as bluff. Oh, he's bluffing, but no, it's not about bluffing. But you have to bring dignity to where you sit, dignity to what you do, and it is responsibility of those people in power to make sure that these things are working.
Oh,
And one of the key reasons why drugs proliferate in Liberia is because of corruption.
you
Because
think so?
yes, because you have people in public service, they're very corrupt. We've proven that year in and year out. You look at our borders, how things come through. The borders are porous. Drugs come all the way from South America. It gets through the region. It gets into Liberia. These are businesses that are doing this. So our borders and people who are providing service at the border, they are corrupt. The police officers are corrupt. So we allow all these things in, and then it gets into the society. But then who do we target? We target people in the communities who are using these substances, and then we arrest them, and then we say, oh, we had an arrest. That is not how we go about it. So we need to really, really show that we are serious to fight these issues. We have to be able to hold people accountable.
Yes, I mean, like you said, even from the communities, we need to go back from our churches, our religious leaders, talk to them how best they can be involved into, creating more awareness, because it is not just about the government. It starts from the parents, from the home. Even the children $4 5 to go and buy cigarettes, smoking and drinking and boozing right in the homes. And as you know, children see what the parents do every now and then. So indeed, we must tackle drugs by all means, because drugs is dangerous. Once you take in that thing, it turns your mind, and hey, you are not normal. So we will also be going to another discussion here on the KMTV firing squad. We hope to join a lawmaker from Liberia, South Foco, a staunch member of the CDC. We'll be talking on critical issues about the Joseph Human Boyka leadership. The leadership of George Weah was helping on private jet. Now we are seeing Jeremiah Cohn, Joseph Human Boyka are also helping on private jet with all clear explanation to the Liberian people. And one thing, they are property, they are public service, and their life remains open to the Liberian people. So we will go hopefully join him. But let's look at this case shortly with Judy Andy and Prophet Key. He's in Liberia. Judy Andy is saying that, hey, Prophet Key did criminal coercion and abuse women. But now she's crying for. Let's listen to her. And we'll come back. We'll give 2 minutes to each everybody to give their own view on this situation.
Of her life are dedicated in this army, soldiers, this army, children, this army working for the women of Liberia. And you come and denigrate me, my integrity, and then you are supported by the advisor to the president of the Republic of Liberia. I need justice. I need justice. I need justice today. I need justice. And I know that on the Supreme Court bench, they have women. Today is me. I've sacrificed my life. The government of Liberia, they owe me money they have not even paid. I've never gone against government. I support a righteous government. Today, I need justice.
So Julian there is crying for justice, but let's not go into the the legal aspect of this case. But just by hearing that Obushu Ben Keita, a legal advisor to the president Joseph Walker, will order the case to be removed from the court. Do we expect these kind of order from all legal advisor or leadership, people in leadership in the Joseph Human Walker leadership to be ordering the judge of courts to thwart a process? What do you make of these allegations?
Well, I think the reason why the government does not want the drama, so, period, they don't want it. But if you look at the rumors in the first place, this guy has been saying he wants to be cultural ambassador, and that particular position we know has been held by Julie Andy for years. Julie Andy has served presidents since it's like the executive horn. Judy Andy is the executive horn of the cultural society of Liberia. She butters up what she does. She just butters up the presidents, and they love it. They love being spoiled, and she does that year in and year out. So every single president has kept her in that role. Well, we see this young guy from, I don't know where he comes from. He comes in and say, I want to be culture ambassador. And he poses a challenge. So this thing that Julie Andy has held for so many years, I think since the Taylor administration, she's been culture ambassador. So it's like jumping into a terrain that you know nothing about. It is just at the will and pleasure of the president, and she does it really well. If she stays in that position for 100 years, presidents love her. So I really do not know what this guy is trying to do or what he's trying to prove. But the thing is, I think the presidency does not want the drama within within the government. So they're like, you know what? Let's just forget about this court case. Now, I think what they could have done, they could have just gone and talked to Julie Andy herself because she brought this case, and not go in and not interfere with the case that's already going on. But I think the reason they're doing it is that they do not want the drama.
Cyrus, you are muted, Cyrus.
Let me just sorry. Of course, this is something that's been trending. It still remains an ongoing, stuff. There's a lot with Julie Andy. She's just sacrificed her life in different circumstances. Like where they put it, I remember she was appointed by then President Charles Taylor as cultural ambassador, and since then she's held that post. She's well connected with the traditional people of our country. If you visit Liberia, you want to even have an program with Judy. She will not attend that program without any of her traditional leaders with her. So she's entrenched with them. She's somebody to look up to. In fact, they refer to her as the traditional queen of Liberia. I had the opportunity to cover Julie when she represented Liberia here in LA at the Hollywood Africa Award, and you see the kind of honor that was bestowed on her. But on the side of all of that, I'm a person who covered the courts. In fact, my reporter duty started from the courts in Liberia, and I know what it is when cases are filed, how they are looked into. where are what are those things that the judges are looking for? If it is how you call it, bench trial, what the jurors are looking for if it's a jury trial. But this was just the opening. She filed her lawsuit in two different courts, the criminal court as well as the civil court. The civil court carried this must talk about $5 million damage as she termed it on her character, on her person. And if you listen to her, she talked about how this has affected her since Prophet Key, quote unquote, went on his podcast. He's widely known for being out there throwing things out, whether they are positives, negatives, they can be proven and all of that. So based on that, she went to court on grounds that her character was being trampled upon by Prophet Key. And the court summoned both of them. They were there. The case started. The shoe have appeared today, according to her. She should have taken the witness stand, but I mean, in the middle of everything, with all even consulting with her lawyers, or she herself who took this case to court, she saw on social media that the court had dropped the case based on the fact that there was a call from the office of the legal advisor to the president, President Boyka. I don't know whether this should be the new trend, because if there is a matter in court, the judge should be the one, calling both parties, whether it is a conference or is in open court, the case is heard, and there should be a reason why, they should be dropped. So it's still trending. I understand the civil one is still before the courts, but the criminal one that on a certain point prevented Prophet Keith from leaving the country on grounds that um, he had this criminal case against him. So I believe, like where they put it, the government is skipping embarrassment because a day prior to the dropping of those charges, we saw Papa Key on his
Oh,
podcast,
okay, sir.
saying a lot of things. So it's a long thing. We're gonna be going through this, I believe, for a long haul. He's still in the country. We hope that the necessary thing is done through the judiciary and not just a call from the office of the president or somebody close to the president calling on judges or whatever to drop cases.
Okay,
It's a
sir.
bad sign in this early stage for me.
Yeah, okay, Cyrus. Let's move on to the next discussion. We'll have our guest, Representative Frank Safoko, a staunch member of the CDC. We are looking at his argument to the legislature and his colleagues there. But let's play this interaction in the chambers.
This country is being divided, and President Joseph Boakai is not doing well. President Boakai, we have to behave in an orderly way that will reconcile this country. I respect the president, but we will not sit here as legislators and allow the president to go out of order. What he's doing is not right. I mean, the president is going out of order, and the president will have to behave.
How?
The president, I don't want to blame anybody. The president is making wrong appointments in different places that is causing instability in the country. And this country will have to be together. The president has the right to appoint, but the president does not have the right to breach the constitution of the country. The president is behaving in a disorderly manner, and the role is not in order. He's not in order. And I think
Indeed, Representative Safoko Jr., the man who replaced the late Muna Pena Youngblood. Welcome, Representative, to this firing point discussion on KMTV.
Thank you very much.
Are you still here?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Frank Safoko.
That was Amy yesterday.
The tea came out yesterday.
So I want to say thank you for the audience. I truly appreciate the fact that I'm here today. I got the invite yesterday by my brother, and I'm grateful to God that I'm here to at least exchange ideas, in the best interest of our people, the Liberian people. And I also
Go ahead.
Wow, Liberia, the network issue.
No, I think somebody is trying to call him on his phone. we are trying to get Representative South focal there, but apparently some technical adjustment is being made. Looking at his argument and to his colleagues that hey, Joseph Human Burger is violating the Constitution. He's acting out of the way. Let's see if we can reconnect with him. Representative, you were speaking, but there was some technical
Yeah,
glitches. Go ahead.
sorry.
What are the points you're pushing for? What is Joseph Burger doing wrong?
So just of recent, I raised a point even on my Facebook page. I was also on the radio where the president was making a lot of appointments, and then those people were not commissioned, and they just went about started to execute their duty because there are 3 procedures within the appointments. The president will nominate you, and you go to the Senate for confirmation. After you've been confirmed, you will have to come back to the president so as to be commissioned. And then you can go now to do exactly why you were, you was appointed. But we just saw there were people who even got appointed, but did not even go for confirmation, and you started finding them going to offices. I mean, that was actually wrong. That is unlawful. And we as people in this country, we will have to respect the constitution of the country, no matter where you come from, no matter which party you come from. But we have to do the right thing. Okay, this government came to power on coming to rescue the country on grounds that the CDC-led government breached the law. There were just different missteps. So how could these people come to power, things that were them yesterday, and they start to do? But I'm not interested in what they said yesterday. I'm concerned about what should be done today in keeping with our constitution, in keeping with our laws, and our laws that are on the book. So the president is making some appointments. Let's look at the issue of road fund. So as per our law on the book, no president in Liberia should appoint the manager for road fund. The road fund manager is being managed by the finance minister, who is the immediate boss for the manager, whoever is the manager for road fund. And you working also public work and few other ministries are also part of that identical committee that make the decision on who become the road fund manager. And somebody was just appointed in that position 6 months ago, and the person is operating on a tenure for exact 5 years. They have just gone 6 months in office. How could you now, as a president, go about to appoint somebody to where you don't have the authority to appoint somebody? That authority has been given by law to the finance minister. How can you go to do that right now? That is totally wrong. Okay. And then the issue of few government ministry and agency, as you all are aware, President Bouaka did not win with the popular mandate of the people. What do I mean? President Bouaka won election with just less than 1%. Okay. You look at the vote that President Bouaka won with, it's not more than 20,000. So this shows to you politically that the country is heavily divided. There are one group of people one side, there are another group of people one side. So what is expected from President Joseph Bouaka Unity Party is they are now in the position of leading this country. They are playing the lead. So what we think they could do is to focus on reconciling the country. Yeah, despite expressing their political decision, their political right through actions during campaign. Now campaign is over. It is time to govern. But to start to wish on these people, most especially some of those people who are serving as directors and who are occupying other positions in government ministry, in different ministry and agency, for you to go there as a minister and start to recall people, start to dismiss people, and you could use your administrative measures, But the first thing to do as an administrator is to enter an entity, is to identify the challenges in an entity. But to just enter an entity, not even establishing relationship with the people you're going to work with, the people who have worked in that entity for many years, and to just right away want to take bread from their table because of some information you gather that not support your party and it support the other party. Just know that CDC also came. CDC met thousands of civil servants working in different positions. And CDC did not sack those people. CDC worked with them. So how could you come now with a country that is heavily politically divided? You had a smooth transition. You won one of the most popular presidents, not just in Liberia, but in the world. And this man responsibly turned power over to you. How could you come now to not focus on reconciling the country, but you start to even go to even battle the Constitution? Okay, we think this is unfair. This is wrong. And I don't want to blame anybody like other people are saying. We want to blame the people around the president. I'm not interested in our funny thing people usually talk. How could you blame a president who already knows what it requires to be president? Somebody who served as vice president for 12 years, somebody who has been in political positions for 42 years. How could that person now take over the country and does not want to respect the law? This is unfair.
I do have a question for the lawmaker.
Yes, ma'am.
At the moment, we're at 30 days since the new administration took office. A lot of political appointees have not been cleared through the Senate.
Yes.
So what do we want? Do we want these ministries to just be vacant without a leader, or do we want people to either hold over who were there before, or can we allow these people to act while they're waiting confirmation? What are we supposed to do?
Okay, so by law, if you are having a transition by law, this is what happens. The outgoing president will automatically, while going towards inauguration, the outgoing president will automatically give a mandate, an executive order that will exit all government officials, that is appointed officials, the ministers that were occupying position, to not do transaction at some level. At some point in time, when you're done with inauguration, automatically the new president will give a mandate before doing appointment in any government ministry or agency. The administrators, that is the HR, in many ministry and agency, the HR will take over to steer the affairs of that entity until otherwise. So what we are saying here, the positions that we are talking about, these are positions that by law that people occupy to serve through tenure. That is, you can only be removed from those positions for a probable cause, maybe corruption, or maybe something else against the code of conduct. Then you could be removed by law from those positions. Now that you have people who were appointed in those positions, they still have some years to be in office. Some of them still got months to be in office. So to remove them, it should be by a cost. And some of those positions, like they want to, the road form position, the president cannot appoint somebody at road form. That's what the law says. So doing that, by doing that as a president, we believe that you are abusing the presidency. This is not the right thing to do as a president. The right thing to do is to respect the law. You are the first person in the country. If you start to abuse the law, then it becomes a problem. So we are asking the president to lead by example. So we are not talking about those positions that are vacant, whose ministers have left because they were appointed and working by the way and pleasure of the former president. So automatically, as the former president is leaving, They also left when the new president took over. But we are talking about those positions that were enacted into law that says this person will be here for 4 years. This person will be here for 3 years.
Positions.
Sorry?
I say you mean the tenured positions.
The tenured positions. That is my issue. My issue is not about the government ministry and agency that the president has the right to appoint. I cannot question a decision to appoint whoever he wants to appoint. Once the person reaches the qualification, that's okay. They are all Liberians. We have to serve the country have to move on. But the one that has to do with tenure is my concern.
Now Representative Safoko is speaking. During his leadership of the George Weah, you did not say these things. What's going on? You're now saying the right thing? You're not reading the law.
The good thing is KMTV also interviewed me before when I had many press conferences as some government officials doing the CDC-led government, and I was representative for 2 years, 6 months, because I took over from my late boss, the late Representative Muna Ipelon. So I wasn't a representative for 6 years. I was a representative for 2 years, 6 months. However, within those 2 years, 6 months, there were issues that are raised, that are found at the legislature, against the former President George Manuel Weah government. So apparently, we'll have to do more research. I will share some of those information. I will share some of those newspaper with you that on some policy issue that I had issue with, and I talk about it. How be it, okay? No matter who government, whether George Weah government or whether President Bwaka's government, what I'm saying, doesn't it make sense? Isn't it in the interest of the Liberian people, no matter when I said it? So I think what we should focus on more is the argument. Does the argument make sense? What I'm saying, is it in the confines of the law? What we're saying, is it that we're just talking because we want to talk, or we are speaking in keeping with the law? So I think we should focus more on the message and what kind of message is it, and how good the message is for the Liberian people, rather than concentrating on who is bringing the message. Going forward, okay, now we are here. When last have you heard Dara Dillon coming down hard on this government for all of the missteps?
He just did it by voting against the passage of the $41 million.
Did he vote against it, or he walked out of session?
Yeah, I mean,
he did vote against it on the record, Honorable.
Yeah,
he did vote against it on the record. I like the fact that the Senate is now taking.
So I didn't follow that.
Yeah, I like the fact that the Senate is now taking that pattern, calling on their members to vote on the records. That's something that we would appreciate if you and others in the House can also push for, not just yea and nay. Let me call on you guys to do that. Let it be on the record.
We did not vote on yea or nay for the budget. I voted for the budget.
Okay. So, I mean, on every passage, let's now see that you put for,
No, we voted on record. The records are there. I voted for the budget.
So we can go back now and see from videos what our lawmakers are voting for.
Those things that are requested for, I asked the speaker or the presiding at the time. When the budget came before us, it was at 52 million. We argued that in our mind, it did not make sense. Some line items, because it was a blank, it was a vague budget that came to us. So we recommended that if we should discuss the budget, there should be line items. For example, you want stationery, goods and services, salaries. You should indicate them in different portions and tell why you want 52 million. We debated at that. We received, and at the same time, we said that communication should not come from the finance minister to us for the budget. The president, if the president needs money, he needs 1/12 of the budget, which is by law, which is now wrong by law. The president should communicate to the legislature to not use the finance minister. So when we send it back, the president himself communicated. Now we left from 52 and we came down to 41.7 or whatever the case was. So we went back into it. We asked them for the line items. They sent those line items. We did the argument, and some of those issues that they placed in the budget we thought was not necessary now, we got them out of it. That's how we derived at 41 million, 41.3 million. Now that we are at this level, we also passed a resolution. We also made a recommendation on record that whatever that was requested for to operate within this 112, that when they are coming with the original budget, that is this year budget, the annual budget, that have to run from now to the end of the year. Now we are not dealing with fiscal, we're dealing with the annual budget. So when they are coming with that budget, they should also come with a comprehensive report. There where now you'll find the Public Account Committee going to do her audit. So if we do not receive a comprehensive report based on what was passed into law now, then now it becomes an issue. So it is not about stopping or holding the budget. It is about providing the right argument, making those necessary allocations for the different government ministry and agency. Like I can tell you, Chief, if the budget comes, if nothing significant is in the budget for JFK and all public medical centers in Liberia, Chief, that budget will not go. If because of that, I will be suspended or expelled from the legislature, that budget will not go. If something is not factored significantly in the budget for the education of this country, that will be an issue. Another issue into that budget will have to discuss 7 increment in their salary to get back to where it used to be.
But
because the issue of harmonization has been the greatest issue of this country.
Let me come in here because the WEA administration was noted for not paying civil servants.
Yeah, there were some times that civil servants were not paid, but at some point the government was yes.
A lot of times. So people
not a lot of time. When the government started,
people would say this is hypocrisy because you had an administration that could do these things and they didn't do it. Now you're holding this government to the fire because you're in the opposition. So how can you assure the public that?
So let me agree with you. Let me agree with you on grounds that people are saying I did not say it yesterday. So let me agree with you that I didn't say it yesterday for the sake of this argument.
And I love your honesty for that.
Yeah, let me agree with you that I did not say it yesterday. And the Liberian people make their decision because of what they consider was not right in the past. And my government, the citizen-led government, was punished by voting President Weah out.
Okay.
So that means the people took their decision. So are you saying to me that we should not speak about these things that the Liberian people decided on?
Well,
so the Liberian people voted against George Weah government on grounds that George Weah was not to have done harmonization to their salary. And the current government came and said this was wrong, this was not a good thing. And when they are given a responsibility or the opportunity to lead, they will definitely bring us back to where we used to be. So we are saying now,
it's only a month. This government
it doesn't matter.
A month.
It doesn't matter. A president for a day is a president for the republic. So what matters, we are not going to protest. Okay? We are not going to do this. What we can do is what we are doing. We've been given a responsibility at the legislature to represent our people and speak on our behalf. So if you claim that I did not do this yesterday for which you decided to vote against me, Okay, that was the punishment by taking me off power, right? Now that the other people are there. So what the reason for which you did not vote for me to continue with this battle 6 years, I'm telling you now that I want to join you to make sure that the right thing is done. I don't think anybody should have a problem with that.
Let me just come.
Representative Foucault, let me bring you
They get
little side.
That's what they will say.
What do you say? I get my
Green way.
Yeah, at least my draft is in the people's interest.
Let me bring the lawmaker back a little bit. I know we started on a footing of the issue of the appointments and all of that. Representative Foucault, you know that the lower house, I mean, do not have much of a legal or authoritative saying as it relates to the confirmation. I heard you raised a very strong argument yesterday. There were a couple of things that you spoke about across on the floor. Even your colleague, the chair of the executive, will not calm you down. And the Senate is where these people are appearing for confirmation, given the green card to go and play I mean, to take offices, be it administrators or agencies, wherever the law applies for their confirmation. You have a huge number, the opposition, if I'm correct, might be controlling the Senate, or there is a strong division in the Senate. What are you doing as it relates to working with your colleagues in the Senate, though they call them the elders? You will just make the noise on the floor of the House of Representatives, but the Senate giving these people the green light to go and work. What are you doing in working with them to make sure that these check marks are put in place, especially with tenure? A lot of people say, "Oh, we have government started this." There were people that went to court. Are you? I mean, is the government now capacitated to pay these people off that are letting go of their tenure jobs? Are you raising this with your colleagues?
So basically, we've been working behind the scene. As I speak to you now, we are working. But one thing we can assure you, like, I don't want us keep going back to President Weah. President Weah has left. President Weah has left. So if whatever you consider wrong yesterday, it should also be wrong today. So what we are saying, what happened yesterday, for which the Liberian people, majority of the Liberian people voted against President Weah, should not be repeated today. That is the issue. So for the Senate, with my colleagues, I mean, there are a lot of things we're working on, you know. And on Monday, you will see the outcome of some of those things. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the entire next week going to be a very busy time at the legislature. Okay. So as a chairman on maritime, I'm concerned. One of the institutions that happens to fall within my terrain and in keeping with the law that I provide oversight is the fishery, right? So we are concerned about that. We are not prepared for this country to be in a kind of hostile form. We have put everything together. The committee is set, and we are prepared to move in to make sure that we help President Weah to rescue the country. And we don't want this country to fall. We are helping. We want to make sure that the right thing is done. So, like
President Weah is gone, Representative Foucault. You mean to help President Blanca, right?
Yeah, to rescue the country, we got to help him. The country has to be rescued. So the fact that we are helping from our areas, we don't want anybody to see this in bad faith. This is not anything in bad faith. This is basically about doing what we're supposed to do. And we will not renege on this. We will not hold our tongues on this. We will not sit back on this. We will act on it vigorously in making sure that the law is protected. We're clear about this. You know, we respect the old man with due respect for us. We are not going to insult. We are going to use our intellectual strength to provide the necessary arguments with wisdom. Like some other of you here now, and what are you Bwaka, you're not Bwaka in your heart. I know that you know that what we say here, it has to do with the law, and it has to do with the stability of the country. So anything that has to do with the stability of the country, it is not about CDC, it's not about UP. It's about making sure that Liberia is governable. And we are not prepared to allow the old man take us on the side. We are not interested in Liberia going back to protests and all those things that will cause instability, that our partners for them, they use protests to come to power for them. They use all those jargons, they were insulting, they were misbehaving on the presidency. But for us, we are intellectuals. We use the law to make sure. I will be suing Joseph Bwaka hopefully on Monday or Tuesday. I will sue Joseph Bwaka and I will go. Oh yes, I will be at the
President
Supreme
cannot
Court.
be
And
sued.
if President Bouaka does not listen, I mean, there are other constitutional actions that will be taken. So
But you
I can tell you that this issue,
as a member of the legislature, you have the power to call the president in and question him on things.
no, the president will be coming to me in January of next year. When I call the president now, the president will send a minister of state. The president will send the other person. So
How do you know
January
that?
is coming next year. January, when he comes to make report to me, I'm joking my question down for January. But how be it? I don't need to confront him.
Why not take the step? Why not take the step and use your power? You have the
I'm
right.
taking a
You can
step. The
fight the
first step I
president.
took yesterday was to write the minister of state. The minister of state will be at the legislature on Tuesday, but you are talking about the president himself. Okay? So the minister, that is the president's office, the chief of officer to the president's office, will be there on Tuesday. The finance minister will be there on Tuesday. Okay? But I'm also taking additional legal actions against the president.
Now,
So
Representative Foucault, I heard you. Sorry, I heard you talking about what you want to see as part of budgetary allotment going forward. And I cover that place you sit. I cover your boss when she was newly elected. Because so rest in peace. Mona Pena Youngblood, a very fine individual indeed. And we saw time in memorial from the Johnson Sirleaf administration where monies were allotted in the budget for different programs. And some of these things were not carried out, but on the back of those things, every budget year, allocations were made. There were times that we did not see budget performance reports from ministers or spending agencies, but those people have budgetary allotment. How strong are you going to be following up with what you put into the budget? What's your working relationship with your colleagues in making sure that what you put for come to reality?
The good thing now is I'm a member of the Public Account Committee. I'm a member of the Public Account Committee, so I can assure you, Chief, there's going to be no free ride. Just underline that word today, there's going to be no free ride. I'm going to be very strong. Many times, the speaker and I, if I'm not clear as to how the Liberian people are going to benefit, trust me, they're going to be a constructive trouble at the legislature. We're going to make sure we're going to insist to make sure that the Liberian people benefit from their different resources and whatever. So how be it, we have an emergency. I'm in the district now. We got a few other issues now to attend to. One of our neighbors just got into a situation.
So before you go, we need you to talk about that private jet. The questions.
Oh no, that private jet, the papa easy. And you see, you that were asking all the questions. Me, I don't want to talk about the private jet. The papa told all year before that he was surviving on loan. The papa came to power very broke. Everybody knows that in the whole world that President Bouaka was very broke. How in 2 weeks they may become president and started using private jet to leave out of Liberia? How? And that how the STD can start. That how the trouble can start. That how problem can come. He has to tell us who gave him that gift. He got to tell us. But on Tuesday, the Minister of State is coming to tell us about the private jet. How Bouaka riding private jet? How come? Where you take the private jet from? But I'm keeping that other energy for Tuesday. And if the Minister of State lie on her own with Jay, we're sent to prison. And when he come there, he become very disrespectful. As I heard yesterday on the phone, he was disrespectful. I can assure the Minister of State that we're Jay when he misbehaves.
Are we gonna have another Mary Broad drama there at the legislature?
No, that thing can't happen. That thing happened before. It can't happen now. Everybody at the legislature can do what they want. If that Minister of State, with due respect, comes to us with disrespect by law, trust me, he will respect that we represent the people. We represent the 73 districts. Okay? The same way President Bouaka was elected, that's how we were elected. We are there to speak on behalf of our people.
People say your former president was the king of private jets. So,
but he told you how you are using a private jet.
So why are you on Joe Bouaka for this one trip?
Because we have to be aware. If that taxpayer money, we need to know. If that gift, we need to know. There is nothing secret about the presidency. Nothing should be in secret.
Now, Representative
Okay,
Foucault,
let's agree that yesterday Ryan Private Jet was wrong for a president. How can today now it became good? How? So that is a real hypocrisy. That is
Representative
being
Foucault,
fake with democracy. But I'm
there
not
are two.
interested in what happened yesterday. What I'm concerned about, Baka is under President Baka is under obligation to make report to us. And if President Baka is not careful as to how he's proceeding in this country, we're going to definitely impeach President Baka. I mean that he's not fit. The issue of the health, we're not talking about that yet. President Baka will have to give us a health status. The thing that happened on Inauguration Day, we need to know what happened. Okay? I will draft the communication for an impeachment if he cannot clearly give us. Imagine, look at the African summit that was just held. The first African summit when Bouaga became president, President Bouaga was unfit. It is alleged that President Bouaga went to Ghana was on health issue. What happened? If President Bouaga is not well, man, anybody can get sick. Okay? He needs to tell us and do the honorable thing. He needs to tell us. If he needs to go to hospital, President Bouaga should go to hospital and see after himself. Later on, he come back to serve. If he is incapacitated to do the work, he needs to let us know. We will not do that. And we are doing all of our investigation. When we conclude, okay, we are going to impeach President Bouaga from the 55th National. We're going to impeach him as a president. We'll do that.
This sounds strong, but just before you go, there are two things that remain hanging over where you see the legislature. Number one, the issue of asset declaration, and two, audit. Where do you stand on those two issues?
I agree with them. We must declare our assets openly.
Have you done yours?
Declare to the public. Even though President Bouaga did closed door declaration in this secret part declaration, we all are in their ball. I mean, Muda house on the highway, and he started getting new properties. But I want my issue. It is not confirmed. Okay? But why would President Bouaga go to do declaration and do all the secret part? The man with the guy, he had a property that we know about, he was surviving on loan. How now he became
when do we see Representative Foucault's declaration public?
Yeah, you see that public on Monday. I completed with my lawyers, everything, all of the documents are set. But my man even got nothing said. What I get that car while driving that two car there. And I pay her before the two car while I get, I'm about to take loan from the bank. And
how much do you make as a lawmaker? How much do you make as a lawmaker?
5,300 United States dollars, 200,000 Liberian dollars. That's what I received, Chief.
Before or after tax?
That's a lot of money for a country like Liberia that is.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. I appreciate it.
Talk about audit. Where do you stand? What's your advice?
We got to audit. Yes, we agree with the audit. We didn't somebody get issue with audit yet. Bouaga been bluffing with audit. You know why he bluffing? He want to bluffing the people when he make that attempt to steal that 20.5 million. You know, but we into that. We get to that on another date. But thank you. I want to run. I got a pressing issue now. Hope to join you another time so that I can spend longer time with you.
Thank you, Honorable. Thank you, Representative Foucault.
Tough talking CDC lawmaker Cyrus Foucault there speaking, but he said he don't want to talk more about the president private jet. And
yeah, because he know they had that same private jet issue, so it's like you're being a hypocrite on this.
Yeah, and like what I was thinking is like, okay, you now speaking because hey, your people, George, we are flooded the civil service with all of those people from the CDC party. They are all in few weeks. We saw people for his end of his era, people into the civil service. We also saw that he was all around Ryan private jet. Now, because Joseph Boga is doing the same thing, which we do not condone, it should never be accepted in our society. But these are people who don't stand for integrity.
They stand for nothing.
Decide they are on the exactly. Now you're talking about, hey, you got to do. They are coming saying we need to do audit. And, you know, physical audit and capacity audit. We're going to see who were appointed or placed in these offices. Now, okay, that my citizen.
I mean, for the issue, when it comes to appointment or hiring, I mean, these are Liberians, but I think we should know.
It's not their Liberian. It's a system.
Hey, give me a chance. I think we should know how they got hired, their qualification in roles they were hired in. So these are things that we should work with the civil service. I mean, people that were just hired on the back of the leaving of President Weah, Was it through the civil service means? You know, what records do we have? So only the civil service agency will give us what we have. Yeah, they are Liberians need jobs, but there should be a proper hiring process where the processes and procedures follow. That's my take. But again, we cannot floor the wage bill when we know we cannot pay these people. The government gets stronger. At the end of the day, months in, months out, people will not get paid. And you see, it's still around. There are still people. Look at water and sewer. People talking about, I think, 4 or 8 months they did not get paid. And water and sewer should be a place where they should be able to raise their own revenue. Are they doing it? What's the issue? LEC
The
is
lawmakers
pending.
are making over 5,000, but they are unable to pay civil servants. How
And some of them are even tapping on free current and all that thing.
and how do they expect these people to survive if you cannot pay them? And you harmonizing their salaries here and there. Have you harmonized the salaries of the legislature? Do you need 5K a month in Liberia to survive as a lawmaker? How much is your rent? First of all, we need to have a limit on how much we pay these people in the legislature. The money is just too much. But
But again, again, it comes back to the executive. You
yeah,
know,
that's what
because
President Sirleaf said it when she talked about this issue at the Foreign Press Center. She said we didn't give it to them; they took it. So these people are allotting money to themselves.
Yeah, but
but
they make their,
that's
make
a
their
huge
own.
argument where you did not give it to them, they took it. But they passed those budgets, sent them to the president's desk for signing into law. The budget is not a law until it's signed by the
And they
president. So if
blackmail the
if they put,
president
yeah,
signing.
there was no time that Madam Selly returned a budget on grounds that I did not give this to these people, but they took
Yeah,
it. But
but
on the other hand, there
Cyrus,
were things.
internal fights. You know what happened behind
So
the
it was like most often they did give and take. The president sent the budget, probably increase her office, and they're like, oh yeah, but why can't you call her out and you, Madam President or Mr. President, why can't you say I'm not signing this budget into law until what I think should be for the people is done? So it's a two-way street. It's a
So,
two-way street
so,
between the
so
executive and the legislature.
yeah, but then it means that we cannot continue to do this. So if we know that I'm
No.
giving the authority to make my own salary, I was like, okay, I think I worth 10,
yeah,
fifteen thousand
exactly. I'll
dollars.
take
So can we
whatever.
have an independent
That's
body
the
who
thing.
will determine this set standard of a representative or lawmaker? Because if you leave it with them, they will always request for that. And like you said,
They get that money plus they get slips for gasoline.
yeah,
They
and
get all
everything.
crash cards. They have all kinds of things to them. Plus, they have funds for their various developmental issues there.
Yeah,
Projects.
and if we keep leaving it with them to make the, because guess what? I know the executive will have some interest, pumping money into different projects. Likewise, the lawmaker. So we need to have an independent body that will go about setting up this exact salary for the lawmakers, because we cannot have a country that
Let's
the ordinary
harmonize their
security.
salary. Let's harmonize
Yeah.
their
And look
salary.
at our armies. Our army people are making $200. The doctors and nurses. A lawmaker who goes to work Tuesdays and Thursdays in section, have committee meetings and stuff,
And does nothing.
and make $5,000. Even the office staff, I was looking at the list of how much they pay. The chief of office staff $700. You make 5,800 some more dollars. You pay your office staff, man, who does all the work, 700. He has a master. The secretary makes $400. Driver making 200 and some more dollars. And if you look at that, it make how well would they operate? Because I'm your boss. I'm educated more than you. I'm making 700. The foodie man said, the foodie man sitting down here. He can't even read the document. I gotta pay a real estate document. So there should be a level of grade given to our lawmakers, because if they decide their own
and
salary,
and it will not be done on, I mean, and taking into consideration until this is legislated. Let the public know that representative, you make this amount, senator makes this amount, a minister, this shouldn't be hidden. Let the public know. If you come to public service, you know that you are coming to serve the public. It shouldn't be somewhere that if you come to rip the public off. So it's a huge thing around this because If you just leave these people, the president wants his agenda to be taken care of, and you just leave them to themselves. Every year there will be an increment in their salaries. And what are they doing? They don't even have oversight in some instances. Some of them even go back to their home countries.
No,
It's
they don't.
done.
They stay
You
in
know,
Monrovia. There are people who come. They rent. They make that money. They rent houses there in Monrovia.
so we hope that Representative Foco and others will push for the audit, and let's see where they sit with the monies they're making, the expenditures they are doing, whether they are worth it. So that's a huge thing for another day. But I think indeed there are a couple of things that we will keep our eyes on. We got to watch for, either from the executive or the legislature. The judiciary will be another thing that will play into, because they have their own problems too. So we'll continue to tap into those things, and where necessary, we let the Liberian people know exactly what's taking place around these people who call our leaders.
Okay, let's look at our other discussion at the last topic before we wind down. Time is not in our favor. The issue of this fire incident all across Liberia. We're seeing people dying. Sergio said recently, almost died as a result of fire incident at his home. What different can we do? We saw the fire service even right on Broad Street, and other area of transport ministry got a fire during the regime of George Weah. Joseph Imamboga, people dying, a tanker explosion, fire incident all across Liberia. People are not rescued. What differently can we do as a people?
Well, from what I know, living in the United States, every single community has a fire station, and you have volunteer firefighters that just volunteer their time. So we need to have that approach. We need investment in that particular sector because it is a health and safety issue. The fire service should have fire stations across every community in Liberia. For example, Dupont Road should have its own fire station. Douala should have their own fire station. Broad Street, there should be about within that belt of the main Broad Street, Crown Hill, probably there should be about 3 different fire stations there. Plus, we should have a fire headquarter that is not in that clustered community where the fire service currently is. If they need help, there's the U.S. government. You can do proposals, you can ask for foreign assistance, and these people are going to be more than willing to help to restructure, because it all borders around safety and security. So there has to be a different approach. We cannot have a single place for fire service and then we have like two or three fire trucks. We have less men. We don't have to have a lot of employees, but we can have so many people signing up to volunteer. Because if you look at the Liberian psyche, if anything happens, you have people jumping in to help. They're bringing a bucket of water and trying to put the fire out. You can use that same energy and recruit volunteers who will be able to jump on a fire truck and go put out a fire. So there has to be a very, very good restructuring of the fire service. We really need investment. We need huge investment in that sector.
Well, whether you couldn't put it any better, the issue of training, capacity building, the issue of tools to work with, down to incentives for those in that particular emergency work cannot be overemphasized. We still pass on Ashland Street when we're around Monrovia and see those firemen sitting playing checkers. We still put in checker on the checkerboard on a basic working day when somewhere is on fire. Why? Because they don't have the tools to work with. They're not being paid adequately. Some of them are there. They've not even, if you even put a 2020, fire truck before them, they don't know how to operate that, because the important things are not taken into consideration. And fire, like the drug epidemic,
Yeah.
is a serious thing across our country. Look at how long that tanker took to burn on that highway that led to, people losing their lives and into dangerous situations. You know, if you had an effective fire truck between Bong and McGee, they will have attended to that situation before even it got to where it ended up. But if the home of a senator can burn from start to end with all a single fire truck showing up, it shows you that there is a lot to talk about. And Senator Joseph's home that got burned, it's not in West Point, it's not in Slipway, it's not in Claratown where you say, oh, before you get to that house, there is no way. It's right on the main street in Congo Town. You can literally stay on his porch and throw a stone on the main road. No fire truck will show up in that area, to help. Like you said, people with the energy and the good heart were the ones who pulled him out of that place. I understand unconscious. So if that is happening to a senator, what's about man tenant there in Slavery or man Kuma somewhere in Jalata? I mean, and those are communities where they are clustered. When one home is on fire, 10 homes rigs being burned. You know, the rezoning process. What are we doing? Public works. Our communities being laid off. Newer communities are getting into the same way these older ones are. People spoke largely about the Ralphie Highway, but you go there now, those areas, there is no zoning. That even when there's a fire outbreak, that a truck go into a community and help out. So there's a lot that needs to be done, but the government will have to put its foot down in making sure that there are allotments for the serious problems of our country. Drug, fire, the police. You cannot send a police officer from the police academy all the way to Grand Creek and pay $150, and he leaves his family in Monrovia. Trust me, he will be back in red light, or I mean, they're collecting his $5 and $10. People say the police officer got the highest salary around town, but if you don't pay them, you have them doing these things. So there's a lot to be done, and the issue of budget performance will have to be taken seriously. Those ministers will have to account for what they've been trusted with as spending agencies or ministries. So there's a lot. Fire is just another war that needs a serious fight.
Okay, time is not enough. I feel we have roughly about 4 minutes to end this show. So let's look at Joseph Human Boyka leadership. 30 days. What are the gains? What do we expect? Because he has not launched his
Yeah,
100 days
nothing
deliverable.
done. Absolutely nothing. He's still making political appointments. So the government is basically still crawling on its feet. It hasn't really taken over yet. So I guess the problem is this administration was not ready for the win. So they they weren't prepared. So they need more time to settle down, to settle in. And I think give them 100 days for what we expect of the 30 days. So probably by 100 days, we will see some things being put in place because the Senate is still yet to confirm most of these people. Is basically like we're in the transition. That's what it looks like.
And that should not be because hey, since November, December, January, I mean, you knew you won the election. These are things that should have been put in place. Set up your government. I mean, it takes people to sit down in that room, come up with concrete plan for your government because the ordinary Liberian people are suffering. You saw what happened. Civil servant salaries and other expensive expenditure from different land ministries could not be approved because these people who were acting, they had limit to
Yeah.
what they would spend. And you saw when few of the ministries took over or directors took over from LPRC to to the gender and other people who were later confirmed health because these were other major issues. Hospitals and things were lacking basic social services because hey, they were limited to the funding. So we need to ensure that Joseph Boga get up if he's sleeping. Somebody is there. Maybe putting he getting two words coming to his ear. He has to wake up and make sure this is a government. as a leader, that's why you pray for wisdom and have those people give the responsibility, and you don't have to do all the tasks. You dedicate a responsibility to people, and you supersede them. Make people work in a coordinated faction. So if you say for vetting on the land on the energy sector, you should have a committee to vet these people. You cannot see everybody's CV. If I give you my CV, it will take you 4 or 5 minutes to read through it, to analyze it. You don't have the time for it. You need to give people some power to go about it. And I think 100 days we'll yet to see. I mean, the first 30 days we yet to see a lot of changes as compared to George Weah, as compared to Eddie Johnson Sirleaf, and even Charles Taylor. Every leader, they say when your Christmas will be good, you can know from the eve. I mean, I saw some people, oh,
Well,
you have to take time. That's what a sound leader does.
you
No, that's not leadership.
tell by the first 30 days that if they're going to be good because they're basically just scrolling,
Yeah, you
trying to
see
get
all the appointments. They make this other person, they record them. They do the other one, they record them. There are a whole lot of questions because the people who come to these things, they are not coming with clean hand. So let's take our
Yeah, so that I told some people that the broadcast administration was not ready to get to work on day one. Um, Several factors. Uh, Broadcast did not just win the election as a unity party. George Weah succeeded in getting his government up and running because some of those key people were in their seats. He didn't just remove everybody. He
yeah,
took
what
time.
he did they did a holdover. So you said at your
Yeah.
ministry why I
While
I
yeah, and
kept in. So there
yeah,
wasn't any gap.
so there's a rush now for jobs in the broadcast administration. Um, I'm hearing that there is a huge noise from the party of the third place guy, Appleton. I understand
Appleton.
that they were going to even his party was planning a protest at the executive branch. That up to now he has not been called for any position. Uh, People still asking people to manage their expectations. You have several noise in broadcast here. You listen to Senator Prince Johnson's sermon every Sunday. You don't preach. We're all giving broadcast a few minutes on why he thinks what he wants should take place. You have the Nima factor. The vice presidents were named by heavily supported by Prince Johnson. They want their people in government. So there are a lot of issues that are taking place, and I believe it will take time to have all of those parties that supported Baraka in the runoff get something in his government. On the other hand, Vice President, I mean, former Vice President Baraka, now President Baraka, when he was even Vice President, he kept his things close up to his chest. You cannot easily predict Baraka. He could come up tomorrow morning and make some surprises. What are those appointments that are coming up? He's fully involved. Is another question. Uh, I heard, and it's not confirmed, that even the last list that came up, some of the names he did not even see them. How did they get on that list? So are the people who are helping him, that these people doing him justice? You know, Mr. President, there's a key position, the issue of the tenure. People say we have started it, so Baka is following the path. These tenure positions, if you appoint people in positions where people should still have 2 years on the books, are you ready to pay them off? It's like I'm hiring Weddy, and 2 months from now, I'm terminating your contract by right, and you should get paid because you did not expect to see this coming. So these are things that they are faced with. I believe they having their own discussions behind closed doors, but the Liberian people cannot sit and wait. The Liberian people are yearning for change, and you know our people were they like if you came today, she told us she was going to do it. It should start now. People don't even understand that audit take a long time. You know, it takes a lot of money to do an audit of a ministry or agency. It takes a lot of money. You are there struggling over whether there was 41 million left in the covers, or there were 20 million left in the covers. Where will you get the money from to jumpstart all these things?
And I think
So
audit should be like a periodic thing that they do all the time. So we don't have to like wait for government to audit people.
mhm.
It's
There
like
are other reports.
okay,
There are
yeah, like
yeah.
every 3 months you do it, you can do it every 6 months. I mean, it should be like a process, you know?
There are other reports, but are they being acted on? That's another question. There are other reports that did as far back as John Malou's
Like
day as
every go
Auditor
ahead
General.
on chopping board for people.
Yeah, some of those were swept under the carpet. So just audit. It shouldn't just be audit, but what's coming out of the audit? Those recommendations that are made to the president, are they going to be worked on? Will actions be taken? You know, the LSCC, George, we are left them with prosecutorial power. Will we now support them, give them the funding to go after these people that are quote unquote corrupt or allegedly corrupt? So these are things that we should take into consideration, not just jump audit when we are not ready to act or do what these people say, these recommendations really say. But there's a need that people are held accountable. People need to know that these monies that are put into the budget affect positively the lives of the Liberian people. And we will keep talking about them. We will keep their ears open to the public ears open to them, and we'll make the public know. And we hope that when we call these people, like Representative Foco did, they will come and explain to the Liberian people what they are doing in the interest of the people.
Indeed, guys. Like I said, thanks our first edition. We hope to bring sense to the discussion and inform our Liberian people on critical things. We are not here to bomb off. We are not here to praise the government.
We
We are
want to
here
do it differently and be fair and balanced in the
to
And
bomb.
I want to say it clearly out there, it took us like a bulldozer from Freeport to get Weather Williams off here. So it took forever, man. But literally, you got a very good negotiating skill to have Weather accepted to come on a platform and do this. And whether we are proud of you. Thanks for joining the network. Let's do what we can to keep the issues of the people afloat.
I'm happy to be here with you guys.
Yeah, indeed, we have to, because we're seeing that the internet, people who are not professional, they are abusing this internet platform, spelling out falsehood and castigating a feeling that hey, they have master over broadcasting and how to inform our people. So those of us who have gone through the procedure, it is time for us to come up and speak. We not have all of the audience from radio or all of media, but through this medium, and we're trying to get on more other local stations in the rural area to form part of this discussion. And we will also be getting to the Liberian people, because our aim is to amplify the voices of the ordinary, not only those who can afford data to come on Facebook. What's about the woman in Grangy, the in Local 2, in Voodoo, in Campley? You go to Riverside, Grand Cape County, all of these areas, the voices need to be heard. What is President Boyka doing to the people in Sastan? What's going on to people in River G, in the southeast, that did not vote for him and hardly? What's happening from Nema County? So the firing point, that's why we say this is the firing point, and we are here to fire it.
Okay, guys, that's all we have for you today.
Have a great day.
Right here, the poor man, you vice president, you write parade here today. You know what the law say? Law say you want to school. You know that conflict of interest? You know the corner frown on that? You don't know that one? Oh, I'm gonna tell you that one again. Oh, yeah, you don't be talking, you get crazy. What you say about it? That this is the same thing we're pushing against. Every day, oh, John, we are in private jet. John, we are in private jet. Oh, John, be more for the Lebron to vote for you. You can be here more than they put our in power. And I told someone you put United Party, I said Joseph Baka will be government, will be worse. More than any government that came into being.
Officials, including Mr. Baka. If Baka can spend nearly $500,000 just to entertain his partisans, what is wrong with fully providing free and quality education for students at public universities?
Manda! Say yo, education is our fundamental right. Say yo, education is our fundamental right. Say yo, Manda! Aluta.
Meanwhile, Shuk extends message of congratulations to all veterans who have been appointed to public offices by the Bwakakun administration. It is our revolutionary duty to recognize and celebrate party ideologues who are afforded the opportunity to serve the state, and to also publicly checkmate these same ideologues when their role in public offices are contradictory to the party doctrine.
Public service is not an entitlement. It is an opportunity to give back to your country and your fellow citizens. I see people leaving private jobs to come to public service. It is not an entitlement. It's yourself saying, I want to come and serve my people. That's why they call it public service. You want to make more money, go to private sector. You want to serve the people, you come to the public. To those who are about to be commissioned today, your compatriots have entrusted you with a responsibility to deliver the services they need. I have told some embassies or some investors, it is not a duty of investors to come fill roads except where necessary, to come and dig boreholes for water, except extremely necessary. We are supposed to create an environment. And I hope those who work with water and sewer, those who work with electricity, will know that it is our responsibility to make those conditions.
A man or woman left for us more to come support me. You need to change you. The thing you are doing will not be the country. That people are very fake. You are very, very fake. You're not thinking well. Because you need to look at what the main cause is for. There should be a root cause of things. You're not looking at the root cause. A sound man, a family writer, what they're trying to be causing. You should always look at the root. What the main causing for.
But you have to insult to get the message across?
Yes. There is a revolution. People keep on the country to won't do for you. And they can't do on TV.
Don't you think about the children?
No, but children, even when you're watching film, children below 18 cannot watch certain, how you call it, certain movie. So there are certain words not for kids. So take the training off the social media for certain, how you call it, certain issues. So you will allow your child to watch certain movie and not be not children. These are mature thoughts are saying that. My daughter hear what I'm saying. I don't get my daughter a chance to listen to it. So don't get your children a chance to listen to it. But you need to listen because you are mature. Children are not older.
Of justice. That's why it is different. So you instructed for them to do this. I'm asking the government of Liberia. I'm asking the judiciary. The Chief Justice is a woman and she understand as a judge, I am a woman. I've been abused. I've been had mental torture. I have not been able to work in my office. I have not been able to write any proposal. I'm the proposal writer for Crusaders for Peace. I have not been able to write any proposal. And I'm going through this mental torture. I'm going through all of this. I have done nothing. I've worked in Liberia. I've worked 30 years of my life. I dedicated in this army, soldiers, this army, children, this army working for the women of Liberia. And you come and denigrate me, my integrity, and then you are supported by the advisor to the president of the Republic of Liberia. I need justice. I need justice. I need justice today. I need justice. And I know that on the Supreme Court bench, they have women. Today is me. I've sacrificed my life. The government of Liberia, they owe me money they have not even paid. I've never gone against government. I support a butcher's government. Today, I need justice. If I don't get justice tomorrow, I am going with my supporter to the executive mansion.
No, I'm super spiritual.
You see things?
I see things. I predated Georgia being president.
Really?
Yeah, I did. I did. People know I made Georgia president. So when Georgia started to label me, talk to me in a disrespectful manner, there's a prophet who cussing, who say I bought playing in a disrespect. I knew that you're not going to make it. Because I made you president. I did. I didn't know that.
So the Prophet Key show, how did it come about? When did it happen?
The Prophet Key show, it was when I noticed that it was all about the 2017 election that George Weah won. You know, I was not involved into the social media.
advocacy politically. I'm a relation man that been pushing my relation agenda, who believe that black people are the chosen people of God, and there are more Hebrew Israelite trapped in Liberia. I've been preaching that on social media.
And two work together, except they agree. We can work with Johnson because we not agree with him. We're tired of that.
Thank you very much for talking to us. Okay, lastly.
I'm Lovetta Sawu from Smith District.
Okay.
You know, it's too sad. But get ourselves, we come up with talking. You know, I want to fit in. Our Barry, General Johnson, been traveling, all passing there. And we've been telling say we need hospital, and we need car, we need school, we need this, we can't. We say, oh, you're allowed to the one. And so many days now we've been sleeping in darkness. They pay ratting, nothing. When the rain fall, you see the water coming down. I got pregnant. I gave birth twins. No car. Get my child to the hospital. I lost my child in the process. She lives in business. Twins. Once see anything I see, it can help me. No car before I reach my child. To hear the being, I lost my daughter. So that's the reason why we get on the street. That's the reason why we get on the street. We don't want him. And the president did well by listening to us. So we just want to tell you, thank you.
Thank you very much for talking to us.
Lastly, I just want to clear the air. One of my friends from America said that all the women that were outside, they were not army wife, which is lie. No other person will.
Equipment that we can pave feeder road using the concrete pavement. We just need that house. In Nigeria and Ghana, the engineering battalion, they bid for contract. The government gave it to them. They use soldiers to do road work. With that, our wives will be out there demonstrating that the soldiers are making, we are making $200, or we are living in a house that we, that is not conducive.
Problem to this country, and we are very clear about the way in which Joseph Boakai is proceeding. Joseph Boakai is having a lot of missteps, and we are just very clear. Joseph Boakai is bringing division in this country, and we think that the president of the Republic of Liberia is under mandate to reconcile this country. This country is being divided, and President Joseph Boakai is not doing well. President Boakai will have to behave in an orderly way that will reconcile this country. I respect the president, but we will not sit here as legislators and allow the president to go out of order.
Are you not happy that Joshua Bay is a preacher of Jesus? He is blessed by the Holy Ghost? Are you not happy? Are you not happy? Those who wrote the speech, I was so sad that the bishop was come. In November Sunday, everybody happy. We are rejoicing over the defeat of the old regime. We are rejoicing about the effort to bring a new regime. Then we sit down with happiness. You go to write paper for that 79-year-old man. He's struggling to read. Then you go there, I will tell United Nations, I will tell US, I will bring one for you. Because you think one for you, Johnson? And by the time the old man was reading, when he got to the place,
Thursday, intruders enter this compound, enter Senator Scott compound. While in the compound, enter the compound and open the doors. While in the compound trying to make away with a lot of things, it created a concern from the citizens of the community. And the citizens of the community surrounded the building and made a call. Their intuition justified the fact that this is the fourth time that this place has been intruded by intruders. We are here purposely to first of all, we want to use this occasion to first of all appreciate the community. The community action vindicates Senator Scott of all wrong perception, of all wrong accusations, of the manufactured crime against her and the family. Senator Scott has lived in this community, and the community trusts her integrity. This is
a government. You say you want to employ people from Nima County, and you take people from here with all the concern of the Nima County people, like Joseph Walker is doing. Joseph Walker appointed Yimale. The relationship between Yimale and Joseph Walker is because Joseph Walker, Yimale is Joseph Walker's sister's son. Lufa County tell Joseph Walker that the person wanted to be appointed. Jeremiah Kun recommended one David Johnson. Daniel Johnson to be appointed to the Robert flight. Who is Robert Johnson? Robert Johnson, for my information, was involved with criminal act, was handcuffed into Indian country. 2 of his colleagues were indicted and placed behind bar in the U.S. Daniel Johnson, for my information, is Jeremiah Kun Weff's father. Y'all will say I'm crazy, may y'all go and check it out and see if I lie. We did not bring this government to power for our relatives to be employed. We see Yomli Kanga Lawrence and Jeremiah going to Turkey to bring a company in this country to take over the Buchanan port. People will say, oh, but what happened?
Among the least in Africa, 46. I decided to come here when Sierra Leone is better than us. I decided to come here with these people who follow football too. And I wanted to come here 3 days for the week. Let's do that 1 week. I wanted to come here and they got this here. They got a few us. You don't need rockets and everything. My president will well football. Somebody should go. Somebody told me that because he said that I think they didn't perform. Yes, they would have called him back. The Ghanaians, they are in all major tournament. Can you get infrastructure? But yesterday they say the football need to be safe. Why can't we do the same thing abroad?
I really believe that those
to ensure that they get to where they were supposed to get to. General, unless you are saying to me it's a policy of the United Nations around the world when they deploy soldiers, fine. If it is not, it's our responsibility because you know even the vehicles that you use there. Why did the government pay for those vehicles? Why would it be government for the soldiers?
So let me explain the United Nations. This is not unique for Liberia.
I'm for universal.
I know, sir.
Mr. President, you have 3 minutes. You have clarity.
So to provide clarity, sir. So peacekeeping have turned out to be in turn a business for most countries. Liberia is not unique. Some Asian countries take 80% of what they pay. Liberia now is one of the only in West Africa that receive all 100% that came from President Weah. All other countries in UN, I can tell you, they did not. You can do the research, sir. But you know, sir, you try to. But one thing to close, one thing I want to close. You cannot deploy your forces to war and don't provide budget. That is the point. So if this Biden now, as the chief of staff said, because
Chairman, we don't have a chief of staff.
Cyrus of Destiny, chief of staff Destiny said, let me give you the advantages of peacekeeping. Motivation because the United Nations have been kicked